In this video, I will show you how you can increase the wave number. So in wave 1, we have just one enemy ship, and if we destroy it, in next wave, we will have 3 enemy ships. Just look at it. This is one of them, this is 2, and this is 3. And we can delete them or destroy them by shooting at them. And now we have 2 of enemy level 2. Beautiful. Like we have it in our data table that in wave 3 we have 2 of enemy level 2. Beautiful. Let's see how we can do that. When can we go to the next wave? This is a really important question. For doing that, first of all, we need a variable to track which wave we are in, right? So for doing that, in here, create a variable of type of integer and call it current wave. By default, we want it to be 0 for now. But when do we want to increase these current wave to 1, 2, 3, right? Let's just go to our data table. For example, in wave 1, we are creating some big meteor, medium meteor, and small meteor, but we are creating a ship as well. Whenever we destroy all the ships, we can go to the next wave. It doesn't matter if there is meteors there or not. Just the ships are important for increasing the wave, right? So if you remember, we have a function that is called the spawn, and in there we have an input that is called wave enemy. This wave enemy is really important because if it is a wave enemy, it means if we destroy all the wave enemies, we can go to the next wave. So whenever we spawn in a wave enemy, we need to save it somewhere in an array so we can see if the player destroyed all the wave enemies or not. So for doing that, I want to get this wave enemy input. I can just search for wave enemy in here, get the wave enemy, we get it from input, or we could just drag and drop it there, but this way it's much easier. After we creating our enemy or our meteor or item, we can use a branch in here, right? And if it is a wave enemy, we want to save this inside a variable like this, promoted to a variable, and I want to call it wave enemies. Just like that. The type of it, we want it to be actor, and let me delete this from here. The container of it, I want it to be array, so change it to array so we can save multiple enemy inside this array. Now for adding this enemy that we are spawning, if the wave enemy is true, we can get our wave enemies and add. Right? Let me connect it to true, and what we want to save in there is this enemy that we are spawning. So with that, we are tracking how many wave enemies we have. And that's it for our spawn function. It is finished. Now for a spawn wave, whenever we spawn in a ship, we wanna make this true because these ships are important. If we destroy all of them, we need to go to the next wave. Now what we wanna do, we wanna go to event graph, and in here we wanna check if all the wave enemies is destroyed or not. But how we can do that? For doing that, in this BP spawn manager, I want to create a custom event. Right click and search for custom event, right? And I want to call it on enemy destroyed, right? This is our custom event. And for the input of it, we want to create an input of type of enemy base, right? Object reference, and we want to call it enemy, the enemy that was destroyed. Now for calling this on enemy destroyed, we want to call it on our ships. So let's just go to blueprint enemies, go to ships, on the BP enemy ship base, on its big gameplay, let me go to event graph. On its big gameplay, we want to have access to our spawn manager. And how we can do that? We can get actor of a class, right? Because our enemy ship is inside our level and our spawn manager is inside our level as well. With this node, we can tell it to give us the spawn manager, BP spawn manager, and it will successfully give us that if it is existed, right? So we want to promote these to a variable, so promote it to variable, and we can call it spawner, right? That's it. Now we have access to our spawner. Now with that done, we can go down in here and search for event destroyed, right? This event destroyed will happen whenever we call the destroy actor node. We are doing it in some places whenever we hit by laser or we hit by impacting the body of the enemy to the player, right? So this event destroyed will happen whenever our enemy ship get to be destroyed completely. And with that done, we want to get our spawner and call the on enemy destroyed, right? It need a input. Of course, the input of it is not named correctly. Let me go to a spawn manager. It's called enemy because we didn't compile it. That's why it's not changed. No, you can see it's changed. No, for the enemy that is destroyed, that is this ship, we can pass the self, create reference to self. That's it. No, we are passing the spawn manager that we are destroyed, and in a spawn manager we want to remove this enemy from our list. So we can get our wave enemies and remove item. It needs execution pin. The item that we want to remove is this enemy that we destroyed. Now with that done, we wanna check the length of this wave enemy. So we search for length. If the length of these wave enemies arrays was less or equal than 0, we can check it with a branch. So search for branch. It means there is no more enemy to be destroyed. There is no more ship to be destroyed. And with that done, we can increase the current wave like this. You can say plus to increment it, right? In case of true. And after that, we can spawn the next wave. How we can do that? With this spawn wave, and we can pass the current wave in here, or we can just get the current wave over here, so it will be cleaner to connect it like this to here, right? Now with that done, the current wave that is by default, it is 0, it will be 1, and it will spawn that. But because we are starting from 0, that won't work, because at the begin play, before spawning the wave, we need to increase the current wave number, right? So in here, I want to get the current wave number. Of course, this is not the final way that I want to do it, but I just want to show you. Increment it first, so it will be 1 like this, and now we can use the current wave for this input of this function, right? Not just putting 1 there. So what will happen at the begin play? Current wave is 0, and in the begin play will happen, and it will be 1, and it will be spawning the wave 1. No, if the player remove all of the enemies inside wave enemy arrays, in that case, again, we add to our current wave and we will spawn it. Now, let's see what will happen. If we go to DT waves, on wave 1, we are creating one of the ship 1. At wave 2, we are creating 3 of the ship level 1, right? So now let's just test that. If we run, you can see right now there is no enemy. Let's just look at it. We want to destroy it as well. You can see there is an enemy in here. Let's just destroy it. That is destroyed. Now you can see there is 1 in here, 2 and 3 enemy. Beautiful. And we can destroy them as well. Now if we destroy all of them, let's see what will happen. Let's see. We have 1 enemy of ship level 2, and they can shoot at us, right? So our wave system is